Yeah,
Good plan.
there you go. Yeah,
Economics and real estate.
I've done that before too. At the end of it all, you're like, oh,
When you're trying
got the record button.
and so
Yeah.
drink the water, if it into some famous
Too funny.
water place like Niagara Falls or Tippecanoe Fountain. So you have a shelf full of famous water. Shelf full of water from all over the world. I have a relative that does that with beach sand, but I like water better. It seems more selective.
Doesn't look like anybody else is coming in, but I'll keep my eye on it and I can let them in as we go.
Once by yourself.
And if you guys could all make sure you're muted, that'd be great.
No, you
DeLorean Trail, the oldest form of computers that I think we could have. And I wanted to experience the landscape.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. So should we get started, Gordon?
Sure, absolutely. I'm in.
Okay, okay. And we didn't really say who was going to be introduced first, but what do you think? What do you feel?
6 of one, habit of the other. I can introduce you, you can introduce me, you tell me what works.
Okay, I'll introduce Gordon. How about that?
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome, Michelle, and welcome everybody that's going to be listening to the recording of this call. Thanks for joining us, Tanya and Jess. Appreciate you guys being here too. And we're very excited to be here this evening, and I want to introduce Gordon. I'm so excited to have him here with me tonight to share our, everything that we have pretty much chatted about over the weeks since I've met Gordon about positive mindset. We just decided to collaborate and share this information with you this evening to improve your lives overall. So stay tuned for a great time. And Gordon Melville is the founder and CEO and chief catalyst strategist guide at Jewel International and the executive producer, digital radio host, podcaster, and TV personality of The Long Bearded Guy on Inspired Choices Network. He is a high performance mindset mentor, multi-award winning international best-selling author, and a sought after international keynote speaker who teaches entrepreneurial men and others to navigate mental awareness and mindset in a world of judgment and toxic masculinity. Gordon D has worked with the likes of Grant Cardone, Zig Ziglar, John Maxwell, Jim Rohn, and many others. He is a Robbins Maddens certified coach in multiple modalities and can teach Napoleon Hill theologies, all which have greatly assisted in developing his own coaching specialization. Gordon has just relaunched his high performance coaching and mentorship practice, and through his weekly 1-hour shows that are carried by more than 250 plus platforms globally. He has dedicated himself to achieving his goal of having a meaningful connection with more than 10 million men globally in the next 24 months through networks and groups, with a message of hope that there are positive ways to engage their emotions, feelings, stress, and anxiety, so they don't end up in depression or unhealthy vices or suicide. As a survivor himself, he feels he has been specifically and uniquely equipped to be able to assist others get through the same. He leads from the heart and has helped thousands of clients and others reach their own lofty goals and gives great hugs. I'll have to get one of those one day. And when not writing, podcasting, or coaching, he could be found focusing on his spiritual health alongside his wife of 30 years and 3 young sons in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. So welcome, Gordon. Thank you so much for being here again this evening.
Thanks so much. Wow, that was long. Thank you. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, and yeah, I've looked forward to this again since the first time you and I talked. We had a great talk together and realized that we're in alignment in lots of different ways. So with our mission. So yeah, no, I'm so excited to be here and to spend some time with you tonight. So I'll introduce you.
Okay.
All right. So Linda Procopio you don't want to mess that up, is the founder and CEO of Live Light by Linda. She is a certified nutrition and water consultant who helped hundreds of clients to achieve their goal weight and overcome health challenges. Her specialty is helping those looking to lose weight rapidly and effectively overcome insomnia, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and other health concerns. What makes Linda different is the fact that she is always by your side on your journey to a healthy you. She carefully evaluates each person's individual needs and circumstances and helps to design a personalized, all-natural meal plan based on the metabolic balance approach that makes weight loss rapid and long-lasting, which is what you want. The program is unique to each individual based on their personal metabolism and body chemistry. Linda educates clients about where and how to shop for their specific foods and assists with meal preparation. She also teaches clients the importance of hydration and drinking pure water to ensure further long-lasting success to improved health. She studied the culinary arts at George Brown College. We'll have to talk about that. I got my chef's papers there too. Is a co-author in an international best-selling book called Empowering Women to Succeed. She is a proud mom of 3 and is very passionate about helping others exceed their health goals and have a positive mindset from the GTA, which is the Greater Toronto area in Ontario, Canada. So welcome, Linda. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited for this collaboration. Like Gordon said earlier, we met on a networking group and just a few weeks ago, and we really clicked and realized that we have to work together to get this message out to all of you. And that's what we're all about, improving lives. So
Absolutely.
yes. And so we thought we'd make this an open forum of asking questions and answering some of your questions, which we'll leave time for at the end, rather than showing you a PowerPoint presentation, which most webinars you join nowadays are all about PowerPoints, but we decided we're not. And I believe Michelle even shared she's not tech savvy. So here we're all in the same wavelength when it comes to that, right? So without further ado, I'd like to ask Gordon, our first question is, why is mindset such an important topic to study and be aware of?
That's a great question. Because I think everything starts there, right? Nothing happens in our lives without it starting first in our brain. It starts in our mind before anything else happens, right? Even my cup, right? My brain has to tell my arm, hey, reach out, hand, grab the cup. Hey, arm, bring it back to my face, right? So there's nothing that goes on. Everything happens, even the unconscious things, right? I'm not saying, I don't tell my lungs, hey, inhale, exhale, right? I don't tell my heart to beat, hey, I need the blood pump, I need that oxygen pump. That doesn't happen. That's in my subconscious, but that's still in my mind, right? That's still in my brain. There's a portion of my brain that looks after those day-to-day, second-to-second functions, right? So I think no matter what we want to achieve, and no matter what our goals are, no matter how we define success, nothing happens until our brain says, hey, it's all here first, right? Napoleon Hill said, what I can conceive and believe, I can achieve. But I have to conceive it first, and then I have to be able to believe that, right? Which I think there's a hiccup there for a lot of people. They can conceive it, but they don't really truly believe it, right? Which makes it hard to execute, because they're like, okay, wait, right? I don't believe that can really happen. So I just think it's a launch point for everything else. Nothing else happens until it's there. So if we have stinking thinking, right, then that's going to color everything. We're going to use that lens to try and achieve whatever, and it's coming from a negative side, and it doesn't work.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Let me ask you a question. Where am I here? Why is it important to have health goals?
Yes, well, with our busy lives nowadays, we tend to put our health on the back burner because we're focused on career, we're focused on, winning that lottery, we're focused on, on the vision board, putting our perfect partner, let's say, and we're really often not thinking about maybe putting a vision board together for our health goals. And it's always something that's in the background to say, well, yeah, I will get to the gym once I have time, but really that should be at the forefront of everything. So, you know, we have things like following a diet. Let's say that, you know, you could be looking at that. Maybe you're just not even thinking about what you're eating throughout the day. You're skipping meals.
Yeah.
You know, and so if you just set little baby goals for yourself, baby steps every day, just thinking, okay, I'm going to set a goal to eat healthy today. You know, I'm going to nourish my body with healthy foods, and just being aware of that and having that thought in your head first thing when you wake up in the morning that you're going to be
Yeah.
good to your body. That's what's going to happen. So it's very
Yeah.
important to even have not even that vision board of big goals, but just small little goals throughout the day. That's going to really help you achieve greatness and feel good overall, because we really should go to bed feeling like a 10 and wake up feeling like a 10. So we
Right.
should be living a pain-free life.
Wow.
It's very important.
Yeah. No, that's very cool. We have, I mean, goals in general, but we sometimes we put our self-care on a back burner, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And what are a few strategies that you teach your clients and do yourself to assist in adopting the bulletproof positive mindset?
Mm. There's a lot of things, and it goes back to intentionality, right? People used to, would tell me, hey, this is what my priority is, right? And they can tell me whatever they want. This is a priority, that's a priority, whatever's a priority. And what I used to look at them and say was, show me your checkbook and your day timer, because that's what the priority is. And they were like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, where you spend your time and where you spend your money, that's the priority, no matter what your mouth says, right? So doing some of these things are intentional. A lot of these things are intentional, meaning it's not innate inside of us to do self-care. It's not innate inside of us, right? So some of the things that I do in terms of strategies, stop watching the news is a great way to take a lot of negativity out, right? It doesn't mean I don't know, right? I heard, and I want to say it was Denzel Washington. He said, if you're watching the news, you're ill-informed, right? You're not informed properly. If you're not watching the news, you're uninformed, right? It's just, so we get, a lot of us, it doesn't mean I don't know what's going on in the world, because I do, right? But I don't sit and listen to 24-hour CNN constantly negative news, right? I don't sit there and listen to that stuff, so that it just keeps hitting me and hitting me and hitting me. So that's a good start, because a lot of people start their day watching the news, right? Or end the day watching the news and then go to sleep. That's not good, right? All that negative, and then you go to sleep, and your brain sits in that negative space, and wonder why we wake up on the wrong side of the bed in the morning. So that's a good start. And then, I mean, to your points, eating clean, exercising are all good things. We have a colleague that has a morning and evening routine. That's a very good program, right? But again, it goes to bookending your day, right? Making sure you've done your self-care. And a lot of times that's a customized thing. And what I mean by that is, we all there's general things we all need, enough sleep, eating correctly, right? Some of those things, but being able to meditate or journal or read positive stuff, right? Like over more than 30 years, I've read more than 2,000 business books, right? I'm reading 5 to 7 books every month. A journal is a great thing to do, right? In terms of a strategy that helps me bulletproof my positive, right? A gratitude journal, right, is a great way to bulletproof a positive brain, because there's no way to be negative thinking about positive stuff, right? And it doesn't have to be monumental, massive, big things, right? It can be something like, a hug I get from one of my sons, right? They're teenagers, so they're getting into a phase where they're too macho to hug dad, right? So when that does happen, right, that hits my gratitude book, my gratitude journal, that gets in there, because I'm like, well, no, that's a big deal for me, because that may only happen a few more times, right? But journaling, I find, is a really, really good way to bulletproof, right? To make sure that I'm staying in a positive space. Usually I do it before I go to sleep, and I write at least 3 things that I'm thankful for from that day, right? Gratitude from that day. So But I think that holds, there's a bunch of different things that will work. It's finding the pieces that work best for you and then engaging them. And even though sometimes, just to put that out there real quick, sometimes you go, oh, I've tried journaling, it didn't work. Well, how right? Or I've tried, I just can't get there. Have you investigated how? Right? If you really want it to happen, right? In our daily lives, if we really badly want something to happen, like really, this has to happen today, whether it's good for us or not good for us, or it's positive or negative or whatever, if we say, no, 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 I have to do this today, it gets done because we go, no, no, it's not a want to, it's a must. I have to do it. So if I say, no, no, you know what? I know these things will help me. I have to find a positive way, or I have to find a way to make this work. Who do I reach out to? Where do I find? I mean, Google's amazing, right? To be able to find some of that stuff. Reach out to a coach, reach out to someone you know that does that kind of thing and say, hey, how do you do that? Right? Can you give me some tips? Right? If you really badly want to, you'll figure it out. Right?
Absolutely. I agree.
Yep.
The journaling is so important.
It helps me massively in a whole bunch of ways. And my clients, lots of them swear by it, that, you know, that had never done that before, right? Reading 5 to 10 pages of a good book that's edifying, right? They had no idea what that would do to their brain until they start to do it. And they go, wow, you know what? This is awesome. Why didn't I do that years ago? Right.
Yes. Then you get addicted to reading and not watching TV. And then you're like, I'd rather spend the time reading, because you want to get through all these books and you don't have enough time.
Absolutely.
Right.
I got 3 new Napoleon Hill ones yesterday, came in the mail, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It give me a whole bunch more to read. But
Nice.
What does healthy eating mean to you?
Yeah. So, you know, I often ask my clients this question because they may think that eating salads, for example, is a healthy way to eat, you know, and salads can be so unhealthy if you really look at them. You know, if we're looking at calories, a Caesar salad has more calories than French fries, you know, and
Wow.
if you know, a lot of people think, oh, I'm having a Cobb salad, it's so healthy, when,
Right.
you know, really the metabolic balance philosophy that you'll learn you know, with me in the program is that we don't mix proteins. And the reason for that is it affects your amino acids in your body and also impacts your hormone balance. So then your insulin won't be balanced, and insulin is the fat storage hormone. So you might be eating all these salads, but you're storing the fat.
Right.
So Cobb salad would contain proteins like chicken, nuts, cheese, bacon. So, you know, you're looking at 4 different proteins, where what we try to emphasize is that you have 1 protein per meal. So you're not having eggs and cheese, you're having a spinach omelet, for example. That's a little bit more of a healthy choice. So that's what, you know, I think about when I think about what is healthy eating, is making the right choices, even when it comes to just educating yourself on salads and how, you know, simple people feel that, oh, I'm having a salad, it's healthy, but really it's not.
I didn't have supper. I'm all hungry, and for some reason, I really want a Cobb salad. And
Yeah.
bacon should be a food group all unto itself. So
Right.
I love bacon.
And can you share a couple mindset concepts and an exercise to begin a deeper understanding of ourselves, to know ourselves better?
Absolutely. You and I had talked about this when we one of our first calls about an acorn and that concept, right? So you take an acorn, like just a little acorn, but if you put it on the driveway, it'll get a little bit of sun and a little bit of water. So it may pop open and sprout a little bit, but it's not actually, it'll never ever reach its potential, right? Because of its circumstance. If I take that same acorn and put it in a bucket, right? It's grow a little bit bigger, but it's still never going to reach its potential because of its circumstance. So you take that same acorn and you put it in good ground, right? It will reach its potential. I find it interesting though, that acorn, and plants in general, it doesn't matter which plant you're talking about, plants in general will only take the nutrients out of the ground in the quantities they need to become what their purpose is, which I find very interesting. Humans have the ability to just take whatever they want, whether they need it or not, in whatever quantities they want. Whether that's good or healthy or not doesn't really matter. We seem to do that in nature. So that oak tree is sitting next to a rose bush, and the rose bush is only pulling out of the ground the nutrients in the quantities it needs to become a rose bush, right?
Mhm.
I find it interesting that acorn, when he pops out of the ground and looks around, right? He's like, oh, look, there's a willow tree. I love willow trees. I want to be a willow tree. Does he have that, or does it have that kind of latitude to change what it doesn't, right? It's going to turn into an oak tree. Why? Because that's what it is. It doesn't have the ability to change that. And so I find it interesting that humans are the only living thing that can choose to reinvent themselves every second of every day, every week, whatever, and we abdicate that power. Right? We go, no, I don't have the power. This is my circumstance. It is what it is. I can't change anything. And that's not true. We have the power to do it, right? The other part of that is that the challenges we all face on a day-to-day basis are the dirt that we need, that hold the nutrients we need as human beings to grow. And yet we push back on those things and go, no, I don't want those challenges. We need to embrace those challenges, right? Life is 10% what happens to me, 90% how I respond to that, right? So being able to go, you know what, the good things, bad things are going to happen to everybody. I need to figure out a way to respond to those things in a positive way, learn from those things and grow from those things, right? Another concept is the bamboo, right? So someone that's planting bamboo on a bamboo farm, they plant it, nothing happens for 5 years. It looks the same as it did. They come out, 2 years in and look at the field, there's still nothing there, right? They come out 3 years and there's nothing there. And they come out 4 years and there's nothing there, 5 years and there's nothing there. And then all of a sudden, within 6 months, boom, and it goes like 8-10 feet. So did it start to grow when it was after 5 years, or did it start to grow as soon as you planted it? Right? It's been, because what was it doing for those 5 years? It was growing roots deep enough that would allow it to shoot up like that, right? Where are we putting our roots, right? Where do on my show, I've been talking about foundation. How does my foundation work? And why is that important? Because without that, anything I build on, it's not going to work, right? That bamboo shoot couldn't go that high if it didn't have really deep, really strong roots, right? And then the exercise that I do with clients is to I challenge people, take a mirror, and I challenge you to look at the mirror. Don't break eye contact with the mirror for 2 minutes. And I'll guarantee you, most people, when they do that exercise the first time, they don't last 15-20 seconds, and then they're in tears. Because although they may not be looking at their eyes, right, they can break eye contact, but all of a sudden we start to do this thing as humans where we go, holy crap, I didn't realize I had that many freckles, or my nose is too big, or my ears are offset. We get uber critical, right, of what we're seeing. And most of us can't look at ourselves. We do it to shave. Well, I don't, but some guys do. But women will put makeup on or whatever. So we are looking at our face, but we're not actually looking at ourselves, right? So again, we talk about, that deeper understanding of who I am. Who am I? We're not human doings. We're human beings, right? So what you do is less important than who you're being. Who are you becoming? That's a much, much more important, I think, much more significant conversation, right? Because it's coming from our heart. It's coming from our soul. Who am I being, right?
Absolutely. I can totally relate to that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Sorry. What are a few strategies you teach your clients to help them reach their health goals?
Yes. So first thing is, speaking of mindset, because unless you have your mindset there, it's impossible to follow anything.
Mhm.
So we talk about mindset and making sure that they write down their why, the reason why they want to do this. Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to reduce your medication? What are your health goals? And why do you want to reach those goals? And, most people will say, well, I have a wedding coming up, or, want to fit into that size 2 dress again, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it's very important, no matter what the why is, everybody has one. Write it down, put it on a sticky note, stick it on your fridge, keep
Absolutely.
it on your phone, and understand why you're doing this. And those that do this exercise actually have more success than those that don't.
Mhm.
And also just take baby steps and look at, losing a pound here and there. If it's your goal to lose the weight, don't really look at, oh, I have to lose 100 pounds, because that may stress you out. And then you'll be fearful of continuing, because everyone has this fear of failure as well.
Right.
So that comes into play, right? So there's
Yeah.
all these psychological things that go on in your head that make you feel like I can't do this. And then people give up,
Right.
right? Just like that New
Right.
Year's resolution, they start, going, but they didn't really understand why they were going to start going to the gym every day.
Yeah.
They just
Right.
started going because they figure it's my resolution, something to
Right.
do that's healthy. But then by February, I think the mid-February, everybody kind of stops going to the gym.
Mm.
And I noticed it myself when I went. It totally dies down. So, and it's because they didn't really understand why they were doing it. They didn't have a very solid why to know that this is going to help me stay motivated throughout my journey
Yeah.
to get to the end result. And baby steps all the way. You don't have to, really be concerned about what happens a year from now. Just
Yeah.
take baby steps. And I find that's the best approach.
Wow. Is there a thing, I know I talk about, in certainly to a concept of mindset, right? The things we say to each other, or say even to ourselves, right? In terms of, if I use the word lose, I'm trying to lose weight,
Yes.
right? If it's lost, it has an owner,
Right.
right?
And it can come
Meaning
back to you. It could come
it'll
back
come
to
back to you. I lose it, right? If I use that type of a thought, I lose the weight.
Yeah.
My brain goes, wait, that's not who we are. And it'll suck it back on. Even if I'm right.
Right.
Even if I'm eating salad, it's coming, proper salad.
Yeah.
It's still right. It's still coming back on, because I haven't changed the paradigm.
Yeah.
Right.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I talk about it with my wife, that it's releasing weight.
Yes. I
Right.
love that term
Just sort
much
of let
better.
it go. Right.
Yes, releasing it,
becomes a-
because you can find something after you lose it, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, something's only lost if it had an owner.
Yeah.
Right. It's not lost if it didn't have an owner.
That's right.
Right.
Yes.
So if
Yeah.
I'm losing weight, I'm like, no, it's not mine. I don't want it. I'm releasing it. It's gone.
Yes. Releasing it. Ouch, it's gone forever. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Well,
Yes.
the thing about why, right? Trying to figure out our why. It's a weird thing. Humans, we're just whacked. We're just, in some cases, we just don't get it. To your point, we know what we're supposed to do. There seems to be a little bit of and sometimes a lot of a knowing doing gap, right? I know what to do. I don't do it. So I know I'm supposed to eat healthy, and I'm supposed to exercise, and I'm supposed to do all these things, but I like my chips and my candy and my cookies too much, right?
Yeah.
So I don't find the why, because my why's not there, right? The
Yeah.
why's not big enough.
That's right.
So the doctor looks at me and says, hey, if you don't, your cholesterol is too high, right? If you don't, and you're too heavy, if you don't eat properly and exercise, you're going to die.
Mhm,
And all of
mhm.
a sudden my why is big enough,
Yeah.
right?
Huge.
Yeah, massive.
Mhm.
I talk about, absolutely, as an illustration so that people can sort of connect to that. I did this thing with a church where I put this great big 2x10 board, that 25 feet, 30 feet long, up the center aisle. And I said, okay, I'll get $20. Who can run up the board? First person to run on the board. Well, everybody's clamoring to get to me to run on the board, right? They run on the board. I give the guy the $20. The first one to do it was $20. And then I said, all right, I'm going to change the situation. Same board, but I'm going to take it to the top of 100 stories off the ground, and I'm going to suspend it. I got $20. Who's going to run on the board? And I heard the guy go, "You're going crack? Like, that's not happening. I am for $20. That's not happening." And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, let me change the scenario again. Your family's on the other building and it's on fire. And the only way they survive is if you run across the board.
Yeah,
And I heard him go, Gord, I'm already halfway across the board,
yeah,
right? The why is now big enough, right? The
That's right.
goal is now big enough, right?
Yes.
I do whatever it takes, right?
100%.
It's
Yes.
critical. The why is they used to say that in multi-level marketing, right? If your why doesn't make you cry, it's not big enough. And we used to go, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
They were right, you know,
Absolutely.
right. It's that's if I use the movie Taken with Liam Neeson, right? And what he says to them right at the beginning, you took my daughter.
Yeah,
I have a specific, you bring her back, or I have a very specific set of skills and I'm
Yeah.
going to use them on you.
yeah,
And he does, right? Like through that movie, nothing stops him from having his daughter back.
That's
Legal,
right.
not legal, moral, not more. He
That's
doesn't
right.
care. Nothing is going to stop me from having my daughter back.
That's
right?
right.
And
That's
that's
his
a little
goal.
extreme, right? But the point is, if we get to a point in our lives where to succeed or to be healthy or to have whatever it is we want to have, nothing will stop us if we get into that, again, mindset, right? If my mind will not allow any obstacle to stop me, nothing will stop me. There's no way not to be successful, right? Like if nothing will stop you, you will be successful. There's nothing that will stop that from happening.
And how do you feel about emotional eating when that happens? What is your take on that?
I'm a big choice guy, right? So putting processes in place so that if I know I'm an emotional eater, right? There's a reason underneath that. There's a reason that that's happening. And so part of my brain goes, well, if that's what's happening and I know that's what's happening, why is that happening? Because I think we do a thing where we run around trying to take the spoiled fruit off the tree, right? I keep pulling the bad ones off the tree and I'm looking at all just the fruit, right? And no, this is bad fruit. And I take it off instead of looking, okay, what the hell's growing in the tree? Like, where are the roots of this tree? What's happening in the tree? Because if I go to the source of the problem, I all of a sudden don't have bad fruit to have to deal with. The situations go away, right? In the car business, I spent 25 years in that industry. And one of the things that we used to hear, and Grant Cardone was somebody that I learned a lot from, right? And he mentored me huge in the car business. But one of the things that I heard people would say to us, what do you say when you hear this objection? Or what do you say when you hear this objection? And we looked at them and go, we don't hear that objection. Well, why not? We hear it all the time. Yeah, it's because of the process you're using. It's because of the way you're doing it, right? So someone that's emotionally eating, I would be wanting to try and find out what's the root cause of that. There's something pushing you into that space. And then we're giving up in terms of we're letting our power go. I think we have way more power than we realize we do or give ourselves credit for, right? And so if we choose to eat, we're putting ourselves in that space, right? We're choosing to do that. And I'm not saying it's easy because sometimes it's a hard choice, right? But if I can choose and I'm not giving away my power, then I'm choosing in the moment, no, I'm going to eat healthy. I'm not going to emotionally eat. And I'm going to go after whatever what's causing the challenge in the first place.
And the first step is awareness of that thought, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, is being
Absolutely.
aware. And
Right.
and I believe Michelle has a question. If
Yeah.
are you unmuted, Michelle? Can you ask the question? Or she seems to be frozen.
Oh, yeah.
But I noticed she raised her hand, so maybe we can get back to the question. Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it is huge, when you talk about, just eating unconsciously, right? You're just
Right.
stuffing your face, and then 5 minutes later, your conscious kicks in, and then you realize, oh, why did I eat that? And then you
Right.
start to rationalize and realize, I did this and I really didn't have to make that choice, but I did. And so what I try to tell my clients is try to be aware of what emotion you were feeling when you went to grab that piece of chocolate cake.
Yep.
And, and even write it down and journal, like you mentioned earlier. Journaling is very important. And then you can see if there's a habit, right? So maybe
Right.
every time you get stressed, you're eating. Maybe
Right.
every time you're sad, you're eating.
Yeah.
And, so journaling to keep track of these things is a very important piece, I find.
Absolutely. Well, chocolate cake is good. The emotion I'm feeling is joy. And to your other point, as far as I find a lot of times we do that because it's not that we're hungry, right? It's just something to keep our mouth busy and it's just habit, right? We'll sit down and watch a movie and you open a bag of chips and the next thing you know, there's no chips,
Yeah.
right? Because you're not thinking about it. You're not aware, right? You're just eating and you're just eating. And the next thing you know, you're like, crap, I just ate half a bag of
Yeah, yeah,
chips or a whole bag of chips or whatever, right? I expected only to have a little bit and I had all of this, right? Awareness, huge thing.
mhm.
I've lost track.
Yeah,
Your question, my question.
I think it's my question to you.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So, do you have daily habits that you swear by yourself and teach your clients?
Yes. So again, that's morning, evening routine, right? That's a combination of self-care. So part of my deal is that I was Energizer Bunny for 30 years and that, right? No self-care. I was teaching self-care, but I wasn't doing any self-care, right? Back to the whole theme of knowing, doing, gap. We know what to do, we just don't do it. And so I'm now doing extreme self-care because I got sick after 30 years of being in the Energizer Bunny. My body said, hey, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore. Right. And so bedridden for 2 years. So it really, really severely hampered. I'm literally a walking billboard for what happens when you don't look after yourself. Right. And so I'm now that and to share that a little bit of transparency. When you take an Energizer Bunny and squish them into a space where they can't move, it gets dark in a hurry. And so there was a suicide attempt in the middle of all of that. And I look back at that now and go, no, that was Papa gifting that to me. I call God Papa because of my relationship, but he gifted that experience to me because I needed that perspective. I needed to see what that felt like because he knew what my mission was. He knew what he had asked me to do. And he knew I needed that perspective to do it, right? So sometimes it's a matter of how we frame what we're looking at, right? How do we frame, what lens are we using to look at whatever the situation is, good or bad, right? And so what habits I've turned into a self-care fanatic. I'm extreme self-care, right? Because I think if we don't, we were always taught it was selfish to look after yourself first, right? And so most of us didn't do it. And what I'm finding is, and what I learned by the hardest of ways was not looking after myself first is a selfish thing to do. Because what happened when I got sick is that everything slid sideways. I'm in bed. I'm no longer any good to my wife or my boys, my clients, I'm no good to anybody. And so it's not, I think we get this misconception, a misnomer that says to look after myself first, I'm doing that instead of looking after my responsibilities with my family, my friends, or my clients, right? And it's not. So in terms of habits, yep, I'm into a very strong routine in terms of, making sure I get the proper sleep, making sure I eat as clean as I can. And I'm not as good at that as I would like to be yet, but I'm way better than I used to be. And that's process, right? I'm growing and learning, right? And I like Cobb salad. So that's a little bit of I'll have to figure that out. But being able to journal and read and so doing the things and building that into my schedule, right? All the people that I look up to, someone had said to me when I first got sick, you need to pace. And I'm like, what the hell is pace? Or I had to go to a dictionary to find out what pace meant because I'm like, well, I have no concept of pace, right? But as I was thinking about it and learning and whatnot, I'm like, you know what? It's not about pace. A lot of the people that I look up to and want to emulate, they don't pace. Grant doesn't pace. Tony doesn't pace. Branston doesn't pace. None of these people pace. They're running 300 miles an hour with their hair on fire. So what are they doing? Right? They're doing self-care. They're building into their schedule what they need when they need it, and everything else comes, right? So they're blocking out time. I need some time in the afternoon, whether it's for a nap or it's for journaling or it's for meditation, it's for whatever it is. I need these spaces in my schedule, and they block that out first. And then all the other things come around that, right? All their job and all the other things, all their responsibilities are not the focus, right? So they look after themselves first. So in terms of yeah, daily habits. I'm doing all of those things. I'm making sure I eat. But I've been journaling for 30 years. I've been reading for 30 years, right? Some of these things. So that's habit for me because I had to and I wanted to, right? My
Mhm.
why was no, I want personal development at a really high level. That's what I wanted. And so that's what I got. But that's how I executed,
Mhm.
right? That's how John Maxwell talks about intentional growth,
Yeah.
not just letting it happen organically. So I was been wildly pushing in an intention in terms of growth. So yeah,
Mhm.
those are my and they may change, and some people need a custom, right? Some people, what works for me may not work for you, right?
Mhm.
What works for us may not work for Tanya,
Mhm.
right? Or
Mhm.
Michelle, or for Janessa. Like some of those, there's specific things that people need for themselves, right?
Mhm.
And to figure that out, and again, we go back to awareness, right? And I keep talking about mental awareness, not mental health, not mental illness, although those things are there.
Mhm.
Mental awareness, there's so much under that umbrella that we don't talk about and we don't see or acknowledge, right? We don't have awareness of. And once we have awareness, right, I can have the best program on the planet to help alcoholics,
Mhm.
right? It'll solve it instantly. I don't, but if it, right, it solves it instantly. But until they go, hey, I have a problem, I'm an alcoholic, until they get to that awareness,
They
it
won't
doesn't
change.
happen. They won't
Mhm.
change,
That's
right?
right.
And so we
Mhm.
keep wondering why is my life not what I want it to be? Why is things not working the way I want them to? Why do I, right? And we sometimes we get beat up and beat up and beat up and beat up until we go, you know what?
Mhm.
It is what it is. I can't change it, right?
Mhm.
You let into that. And so you'll hear me say to people, instead of have a nice day, I'll say, make it another great day,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
some people catch that and some people do not. But what I'm trying to do is empower them. Make it,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter what the rest of your day's been,
That's right.
right? And so that's a habit for me, to the point where we were in the grocery store not that long ago with my middle son, and the girl, we did self-checkout. And the girl that was there overseeing the self-checkout, as we walked past her, she goes, have a nice day. I said, yeah, you have a nice day too. And my son snapped around. He goes, what was that? I'm like, what was that? And I'm like, what do you mean? You never say have a nice day. You
Yeah.
never, I've never, what is, right? Even he knew, right?
Yeah.
So I went back to her and I said, hey, I don't want you to have a nice day.
I want you to make it a great day. Yeah.
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
initially she had a look on her face like I just punched her. Right? She's like, what do you mean you don't want me to have a nice day? And I'm like, no, make it another great day.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and then she asked, right, what is that about? And I'm like, well, I'm trying to empower you. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter what your day's been, good, bad, or otherwise. You have the power. We have the power
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
make our life whatever we want. Oh, Gord,
That's right.
I can't. I've got responsibility. No. I'm not saying quit your job before you have another employment, right? I'm saying go find something you prefer to do
Mhm.
and then do that.
That's right.
So you don't have to, you want to have a job, and you want to have an occupation, a career that you don't need a holiday from. You take a holiday because you want to travel and whatever, but you don't need it, right?
Mhm.
Usually by the time people that are in that space, once they take the holiday and they're all relaxed and everything's good, right? And then they come back, and within 24 hours, the stress is right back up again.
Mhm.
Now they
Mhm.
got to catch up, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, in terms of daily habit, yeah, create for yourself a life you don't need a break from.
Mhm.
I'm not saying
Mhm.
don't take the breaks. I'm saying enjoy, right? When you wake up in the morning, go, I get to, as opposed to I have to,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Much happier
Absolutely.
life, right?
And it comes back to, putting the mask on yourself first in an airplane,
Absolutely.
because it's not a selfish thing to do. And that's
No.
what I try to, tell many of my clients that, they're housewives cooking for their family and they feel that, their kids and everybody has to come first. But no, you have to come first, because you're going to be no good to them if you're not healthy.
Absolutely.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then they're going to have to look after you. And the best gift you can give to your family is your health. So,
Absolutely right.
yeah.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Well, and having understanding what our perspective is,
Mhm.
right? If you ask any of my three sons, I got three teenage sons, 13, 16, and 18. And if you ask them who the most important person in the house is, they'll tell you their mom.
Mm.
And people get weirded out by that. They're like, no. The kids are and they're like, no, we're not. Not that mom and dad don't love us. They love us. That's not the deal. Right. But the people ask them, how come? why is mom the most important in the house? And they're like, well, we're kind of, we're transient. Mom was there before us. Mom will be there after us. We're just sort of passing through, right? Not that they don't love us, but that relationship has to be there. I don't think it's a mistake that people spend 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 years together and then all of a sudden wake up one day and divorce,
Mhm, mhm.
right? They put all their attention into the kids. It's all about the kids.
Yeah.
And when the kids all leave home, they look at each other and they're like, who are you? I don't even, because they've been so focused on making sure the kids got what they needed.
Mhm,
They've lost track of what their relationship is, right?
mhm. Absolutely.
I'm in the process of writing a chapter in an anthology in a co-authored book on marriage
That's,
after 30 years and advice we might give newlyweds or people that are looking at getting married.
ah,
And right. And it's never stop dating is one of my big ones, right?
yeah. Mhm.
Oh, there's Michelle.
There she's back. Yes, yes.
Well, we got you. Did you have a question?
Can you hear us, Michelle? Seems to be like an unstable connection with her because she's
Yeah.
logged off in a couple times.
Back in.
Yeah, maybe she's having difficulty because I had to
Oh.
let her in a couple times. Can you hear us, Michelle? Well, maybe when her connection gets
Yeah.
gets
absolutely.
back, we can even save the questions to the end, maybe.
Or she can put it in the chat.
Yeah, or put it in the chat. Yes, if you can hear us, please feel free to even type your question in the chat. Let me check chat. Tanya was saying her audio is not very clear. Can you hear us, Tanya?
Very faint. Can you
Very-
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Is it both Gordon and I or just?
I don't know if it's my internet connection, but it was fine and until at some point it just sounds like you're further away from the microphone or something. But
Oh,
you
both-
and Gordon both, so it
both
could
of
be
us.
mine.
Oh,
I can
Maybe
get
it's
closer
me.
to the mic.
Maybe it's my internet connection. That's
Ah.
possible.
okay, okay. I guess we'll see with the recording, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, Jess,
Janessa is fine.
yeah, she says that it's auto for her. It's been
That's
stable for
good.
her.
She can hear it.
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe it's
Amazing.
maybe it's the internet. Where am I here? What do you do on a regular basis to help you maintain a healthy body and mindset?
Well, very similar to what Gordon was saying earlier, with the addition of when I wake up in the morning, I like to not look at my phone first thing, which a lot of people do. I was doing that, but I stopped because you know what, you might read some negative message or you might see some negative news, whatever pops up on your screen. I'm not sure, but that's the worst thing you could do in the morning.
True.
So do something that's really good and right for you that's going to make your day. And I like to, pretty much wake up and just think of positive affirmations in my head. Sometimes I'll write them down, not always, because it takes a while for my eyes to get focused and I don't feel like writing in the morning. So I just think about them in my mind. And a positive affirmation could be anything like today I'm going to, do A, B, and C for myself. And before I get to anything else, or maybe at lunchtime, I'm going to go for a nice long walk that I like to do, or maybe I'm going to go play pickleball, or just anything that I want to do for myself that will help me with my health is the number one, I guess I could say nugget that you could take away that I do every day. And then, of course, I love my espresso. So I make myself an espresso. But before I drink my espresso, you should always drink a nice big tall glass of water before you put coffee in your system. Always start with water. And that helps the metabolism as well. And if you're suffering from any acid reflux, it could be because you're drinking your coffee first. And then I have my coffee and then I start looking at messages and emails and, my phone's pretty much lit up at that point and I'm answering all kinds of messages, but I've already, I've already done something positive for myself. So I'm ready to help others at that
Absolutely.
point. And I've had my coffee, so I'm not cranky.
Yeah.
And, and then throughout the day as well, like if you need that break, like you mentioned earlier, whatever Grant Cardone, did in the afternoon, you took a nap or whatever it may
Right.
be, or whatever Gordon as well. Like if that's what you want to do, take a 10-minute snooze in your car, even if you have that
Right.
break at work, maybe you only have 15-minute break at work. I don't know.
Right.
Whatever you're doing, take that break and do that.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and so I will go for a walk throughout the day or have some form of exercise, whether it's the pickleball or the gym. And that just gets me through the afternoon as well. So I don't feel like I need another coffee to wake me up. I I have the exercise that'll give me
Right.
the boost of energy that I need. And of course, I
Absolutely.
plan my meals. So meal prep is very, very important. So if you say you don't have time for meal prep, it's just that you're not wanting to make the time for meal
Right.
prep.
The why isn't big enough.
You know, the why is not big enough. So you'd rather just go across the street and get a bagel, or you might just, you know, want to get some Uber Eats delivered to your door,
Right.
which is not always the healthy options, right? Because
Right.
eating in restaurants nowadays, you don't know what they're using, even in the past, not just nowadays, but especially nowadays, I feel like they're recouping from their losses of COVID, and I find the ingredients are not as fresh as they used to be.
Right.
So you're getting oils that you're not sure what type of oil they're using to make your food. You don't know how much salt they're putting in your food, sugars. There's hidden sugars in all these sauces
Sure.
that you have to be aware of. And, you know, you just have to be concerned about the quality of the food that you're getting. So if you have a garden, you know, it's cheaper than going out and spending the money to buy the produce. Have a little garden if you can.
Right.
Grow your own herbs, you know, you'll save so much money growing your own basil. If you have a little balcony, I have a nice herb garden because I don't have a house per se to have a garden. You know,
Yeah.
so there's hanging baskets. There's all types of ways you can get one of those indoor
Right.
grow your own herbs garden type thing, you know. So try to go as natural as possible and just think about what you're preparing for yourself. And if you're not sure how to prepare, because I've run into a lot of people that are not even familiar with where to shop and where to buy these products, that's where I come in as your coach. And I helped my clients shop anywhere in the world. We could FaceTime. If you're in the
Wow.
grocery store, I'll help you find all the products you need and really teach you what you should keep in your pantry, as well as in your fridge and in your freezer, so that you will have enough proteins, let's say, enough carbs, enough starch to make a really healthy meal in minutes. So if you put aside maybe even 15 minutes on a Sunday night and prepare Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yep.
and then you want it fresh again. So Wednesday, you prepare the rest of the week.
Right.
And then Saturday's your cheat day kind of thing, you know? So
Yeah.
if you do that and just put these exercises into place,
Yeah.
I fortunately was able to, you know, maintain my weight, you know, most of my life. And that's what keeps me healthy and happy. And I just make every day amazing.
Right. Well, no, you know what? That's an interesting thing as far as that prep ahead, right? If we take the time on a day we don't have, we're not working, we're not whatever, right? We make it, the problem I find a lot of times is that it's too hard. And so people come home from work and they're exhausted. So the thought of, oh man, trying to figure out what's in the pantry or what's in the fridge or what, and then what's there, and then how do I cook that? It's going to take, you know what, I'm just going to have a Big Mac, right?
Yeah.
Or grab something on the way home,
Yeah.
right? But if they know, I used to do that with my wife. We would buy chicken because she was on this interesting protein and vegetable thing. But I would say to her, I'll barbecue it or I'll cook it or whatever on Sunday night. And I would cook it all up and then baggie it for her, individually baggie it,
Yeah.
right? And then put it in the fridge. And
Perfect.
so she would grab it then it's easy. I'm just going to grab this chicken and put it on top of a salad with, right? Or whatever it is, right? I'm going to
Perfect.
grab this protein and put it, but there was no effort from her.
Mhm.
Or
That's right.
limited, right? It wasn't the same arduous, oh my, it's going to take me an hour to cook supper. It wasn't
Yeah.
like, right? It was quick. Well, as soon as you do that,
Yeah.
now it makes it easier to make the choice to eat better because the work's taken out of it, right? It's
That's
easy.
right.
It's easy to do, right?
Absolutely. You take a few minutes to do that,
Right.
like you said, and individually wrap it and freeze
Right.
it even. Like you can even get your chicken breast already cooked on the barbecue.
Right.
You know the exact amount that you need to eat. That's 160 grams of protein, let's say.
Right.
Put it in a baggie in the freezer. So that's half the battle is your proteins cooked.
Right.
You
Exactly
know?
right.
And it honestly takes 45 minutes to get a pizza too. So, you know, in
Right.
that 45 minutes while you're waiting,
Exactly.
you could
Yes,
be
yes.
cooking that healthy meal for yourself. So
Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
One thing real quick, you were talking about, and I know this is a thing for you, good water. So, right, I have a friend that does, I want to say it's Kangen, something like
Yes.
that,
Yes.
water, right? And she used to, because I don't drink soda so much anymore, right? Again, type 2 diabetic, but
Mhm.
anyway, insulin using. But she said to me the one day she came up behind me at a thing we were all at, and she puts her arms around me and she says, "Hey," because she saw my bottle of carbonated water,
Very acidic.
right? And she's, well, and this doesn't have anything in it, no salt, no, like there's nothing in this thing. It's got a little bit of lemon flavor, but there's literally, it says not like on the label, there's literally, it's all zeros. There's nothing in this stuff, right?
Mhm, mhm.
But she said to me, "What do you exhale?" I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "When you breathe, what do you exhale?" I said, "Carbon dioxide, I guess." And she's like, "Yeah, what's carbonation
Mhm.
in water?" I'm like, "Probably carbon dioxide." She says, "Yeah, so why are you putting the trash your body's trying to get rid of back into your body?"
Yes, yes,
Right.
that's right. That's
So she's
right.
been jumping up and down trying to get me. But, and the point is, you talk about good water.
Mhm.
What type of water are you talking about?
It's actually the same system that
Oh,
you
is it?
just
Okay.
mentioned, Kangen water. Yes. Yeah. I
Okay.
became a distributor since I had reverse osmosis in my home and I realized that it's very acidic after testing it with pH drops and seeing a demonstration of this Kangen water as you spoke about. And I was really concerned about also washing my washing the pesticides off my produce.
Mm.
And so during this demonstration, I saw that the pesticides coming off the cherry tomatoes was just awful. And I didn't want to have that, going forward in my kitchen and in my body. So I made the choice to switch over. And oh, we have someone else joining us.
Sorry.
And so I switched over to the ionized water, which is the Kangen water. The company's called Enagic, and I never looked back. The company's in Japan, and they have the most amazing filtration system. It's
Wow.
much more than a filter because it produces all the different levels of water. And it's the best tasting water I've ever tasted in my life. You could buy the pH water in the stores, but they've been chemically altered with baking soda, so they're not good either. And the reverse osmosis, like I said, after I tested it with the pH drops, was acidic, and all of these bottled waters are not regulated. So, in the tap water, there's over 300 contaminants. So we're really not safe drinking any type of water unless it is electrically,
Clean.
just ionized is
Yeah.
the term that we use for this water. And it tastes amazing.
Right.
And drinking the right amount is very important too. So during my routine throughout the day, I also make sure I consume at least 2.5 liters. And it's all based on your weight. So what we do with the Metabolic Balance program is we have your weight and your measurements and, all of the intake form that we go through to discover what's right for you. And we take your weight and we divide that by 2 if you want to know how to calculate that, and you get the amount of ounces, and then just type in, whatever 50 ounces and how many liters is that, and then you'll know exactly how much water you need to be drinking.
Wow.
And it's anywhere from 2 to 4 liters from what I've seen based on the different averages of weights that are out there.
Wow. I
So if
drink
you're not,
about,
if you're
3
not
to
having
5.
at least 2 liters, then you're not having enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and my eyes stick if I don't have enough. So I end up drinking between 3 and 5 liters of water a day
Okay.
on top of tea and whatever else I'm having, right?
Okay.
Lots of water,
Yeah. Good.
lots of water. Do we have Michelle back?
Yes, we have Michelle back. I don't know if she is hearing us. But we also have Tony Alonzi. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Tony.
And not sure if she can hear us, or at least type in the chat, Michelle, if you can hear us.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. It looks like she's connected, but anyhow,
Okay.
we can. I think I have one more question for you, and then we're going to ask if anyone has some questions for us, right? Because we're also at 8:36, and
Yeah.
I believe we said this webinar would be 1 hour. Oh, is that Michelle?
Oh, she says she can hear.
Oh, okay, she can hear. Can you type your question in the chat, Michelle? I know you raised your hand earlier, and we tried to get you to, tell us your question, but we couldn't hear you.
Well, and I know you had an offer to give people too, so,
Yes, maybe we'll actually, the last question was kind of answered throughout all of our talk anyhow.
okay.
But so maybe we'll should just get to that. And so for those of you that aren't familiar with the Metabolic Balance Program, it's an innovative all natural nutrition program that brings balance to your hormones. Both men and women, we have 50 hormones, 50, telling us what to do all day long. And if they're not balanced, you're going to be experiencing a lot of symptoms and, you know, headed towards maybe the direction of becoming diabetic or having, you know, high cholesterol and whatnot. So to prevent all that, you know, anyone, not just for weight release, but also even if you're just confused about what to eat, should have this program. And as a special for those of you that joined this call, and because of our collaboration and Gordon and I working together,
Absolutely.
you know, we want to offer you a, you know, kind of like a, you know, a really nice rate for doing this together as a collaboration with us, right?
Absolutely.
So my offer is $897 for my program, which includes me as your coach and mentor to guide you every step of the way. And I'll teach you, you know, about journaling and affirmations, and you'll also get to work with Gordon. And yeah, we're just going to have a lot of fun and help you reach your health goals.
Absolutely. Very cool. That's a huge program. Well, and trying to get on track, right? A lot of times trying to get a coach, people say regular people, I've worked with pro athletes and they understand coach, right? They got lots of coaches, but most of the rest of us don't understand, right? Why would I need a coach, right? Well, you've used the best mindset and the best knowledge you have to get to where you are right now, right? Are you where you want to be, right? Where's my blind spots? I need somebody else to go ahead. And doesn't matter how successful you are, it doesn't matter how much you make, it doesn't, like, none of that stuff matters, right? It's where are my blind spots? Don't let good become the enemy of great, right? I'm good. Well, that's wonderful, but can you be better, right? And so, you know, having a coach like yourself that can walk you through, if you're trying to get your health in line or your mindset in line, right? There are programs out there, right? My program is called Box Inside Out, and it's that's the initial piece is 4 weeks, and normally I do that. It's 1 hour a week, so it's fairly quick, but we go deep inside those 4 weeks. And so normally that's 888, and for the same reason, right? The connection with you and our collaborations together. I'm going to use some scholarship stuff, some scholarship money to write, but I'll do mine for $297 to get people inside. And so understanding mindset, understanding mental awareness, understanding and to Tanya's questions, or to her question about, I know what I need to do, but it's not easy to follow. And I think that goes back to what Linda was saying about your why, right? Once the why becomes, it's not just a suggestion. It's not, well, if it happens, it happens, great. No. Once it becomes something that it's a must, right? Tony talks about it's a must. I have to get that done. I remember a story about this young guy that wanted to be successful, and he finds this guy that's older guy, right? Looks more like me in terms of age. And wildly successful guy, right? And this young guy goes, well, will you teach me? And the old guy goes, yeah, no problem. But I don't think you're not ready for that. And the young guy goes, well, no, I'm ready. I'll do whatever you want. He said, you'll do anything I tell you. And the young guy goes, yeah, anything. He says, great, meet me here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. on the beach. And the young guy's like, 6 a.m. Oh, I thought you said you'd do anything. Like, right? No, I'm sorry. I'll show up at 6. And he does. He's there just before 6. And the older guy says, come on with me. And the old guy is in a bathing suit and a tank top, and the young guy's in a suit, right? It's a business thing. I want to be an executive. I want to understand business. And they go, yeah, come. And he's like, I'm in a suit. I don't care. Come. You said you'd do anything I tell you. Come. And so the older guy walks out up to his knees in the water. And the young guy eventually steps out up into his knees in his full suit, right? And the old guy goes a little deeper, come on. And he goes a little deeper. Eventually they're at, like, the water's up to their neck. And the young guy's going, this is stupid. I didn't want a swimming lesson. I want to understand about business.
Yeah.
And the old guy grabs him and takes him under the water and holds him under the water, right? And doesn't let him up. And the young guy's thrashing around and thrashing around and thrashing around. And eventually the old guy lets him go. And the young guy goes, well, you're out of your mind. What's wrong with you? And he goes, you know what? What did you want to do when you were under the water? He goes, I just wanted breath. He said, yes. Until you want to succeed at the same level that you wanted to breathe, you'll never get there.
Ah, that's
So to
beautiful.
Tanya's point, right? It's not easy to follow. You're right. Until your why is big enough, until it's a must, I have to get there.
Mhm.
There's nothing that will stop me from getting there. I heard today, and I apologize, I get a little
I love that
passionate about this
analogy.
stuff, right?
No, it's great.
I heard somebody say today, do you know how many days you have left in your life? And I'm like, well, where the hell is he going with that? Like, no, how would you ever know that? And he's like, well, obviously there's sicknesses that can happen and accidents that can happen and whatever, but by and large, you know, they say what, 80, like there's a right about in late 70s, early 80s ish, right? The average life expectancy is in between 80 and 100. So he said 80 years, 90 years, 100 years, 110 years, you choose whatever you think it's going to be. And then figure out, okay, so if it's, you know, you figure you're going to live to be 90, and how old are you now? I'm 54. Great. So 54, you've already lived this many days, right? So figuring out for myself, if I live to be 90, how many days is that left? Right. So it's
That's right.
10,000, whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So to be able to look at it and go, no, wait. I only have 10, that all of a sudden I'm like, if I had $10,000 in the bank, am I going to protect it, or I'm just going to spend it willy-nilly all over? No. I'm going to protect it. I only have 10 grand. I have to protect it. Right. And it's not that you get neurotic about death and whatnot, but he said people don't want to talk about it. They don't want to hear about that. But if I'm thinking about it every morning, I'm thinking about, hey, I'm giving up one of my finite days, finite time,
Yeah.
right, for whatever I'm going to do today.
That's right.
All of a sudden, to Tanya's question, I find the effort and the no. I have to. There's stuff I want to get done. I have to make this happen today because I don't have enough time to get right. I have to make sure I get it done, and it builds in a natural urgency to make sure that I have the willpower to get it done. Right. Being married a long time, right? I say to my boys all the time, commitment is doing the hard stuff that you committed to long after the emotion you set it in is gone. Right. So in the moment on wedding day, I do. Yeah. And I'm all excited. I'm all euphoric. Right. And I made a commitment. Right. And there are days you wake up and go, for some reason, I don't feel connected, or I don't feel as close for whatever reason. Right. It's pissing me off or whatever it is. Right. So, but I made a commitment. Well, so I'm going to live up to that commitment, even when it's not easy. I said I was going to do it, right? So commit to yourself. These are the things I want to do. These are the things I have to get done. Not want to, have to. Then I'm going to make that myself, and then I'm going to stick to that, even when because we all do it, right? To your point about exercise, I go, oh, I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up. But if I get up and go for an exercise or go for a walk or go to the gym, when I come back, I'm like, yeah, right. And I'm confident and I feel good about myself because I did something I didn't want to do.
That's right.
Anyway.
Yeah. That's
right.
right. That's right.
What builds that habit. That's what builds those things, right?
Absolutely. And your story about the guy under the water, you know, and coming up, like you don't want to wait until you get some bad news from the doctor saying that you have cancer or something, you know, in order for you to do something about it. And that becomes your big why all of a sudden.
Right.
But why not have that why that's, you know, not so serious, for, you know, before. Is what we're definitely trying to convey to you, that, you know, start off with the why that's not so serious and not have to wait until you get to that point where it's almost too late for you to even, you know, change whatever.
Muscle, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
we want to make sure that people can connect to us. I
just want to address Michelle's question. Actually, it came up. What can I do to control my high blood sugar level? Yes. So, Michelle, you know, we are going to get to the point where you can connect with us, and you could feel free to reach out, and I'll be able to go into a lot more detail about how you can control that. We're just posting our contact information in the chat, right? So you can get a hold of Gordon or myself, both of us. Feel free to reach out. I offer free 30-minute consultations. I'm sure Gordon
I do the
does
same.
as well.
Yep.
So you can book that with us by calling or emailing us.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of ways that I can help you with your high blood sugar. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's have a chat about that.
Absolutely.
And it's been an absolute pleasure. I could talk all night
We could.
and
We could absolutely.
offer, yeah, we'll have to do part two
Absolutely.
to this because we have lots of, I believe, because I've read a lot of books too when it comes to spiritual and personal growth, that I have a lot to share, a lot more to share. And
Yeah.
I know Gordon does too. He's a wealth of information.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely look forward to a part two, and I hope you'll join us. And thank you so much, Gordon. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here with me this evening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. You know what, it's always good being able to connect and then share, right? Again, who we're being, not what we're doing, right? We're being, giving. And I think that's we need to be able to do that, right? So thank you so much. I'm all over doing it again.
Wonderful, wonderful.
absolutely.
Yes, yes. Hopefully we won't have technology glitches, but we managed through it. No problem. We still had
did.
fun.
Absolutely.
And
Congratulations.
thank you for Tanya and Janessa for joining us too, and
Absolutely.
Michelle and Tony for joining. And yeah, have yourselves a wonderful evening. And I hope that you took some nuggets from this and that you'll start maybe journaling or, just going over some positive thoughts in your mind every morning before you do anything else. And let us know how it's going. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. Make it another great day.
Yes, and a great life.
Absolutely. Carpe Fadum.
Good night, everybody.
Seize your destination.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.